I was born on the throne. I'm a king, I need a court of my own. All these rings like I'm ignoring my phone. My ancient aura is gold. Yeah. My ancient aura is gold. I've been touring and exploring the globe. It's how I hoard it, this was off in the stove. My ancient aura is gold. Yeah. My ancient aura is gold. Gorgeous porcelain imported from Rome. I promise I look 20 as a 40-year-old. My ancient aura is gold. 444 horses is the force that I hold, and it's 44 imports that I roll. I extorted when the order is sold. Out of bounds for the border patrol. I be twisting up a joint like contortionist bomb. Really all I need to record in my zone. Practicing the darkest sorcery mode. Tapping in when I be authoring poems. Bird magic mixed in with the Jordan Malone. This bag of skin, I'm in supportable home. But now you're tripping, now you're doing it in gold. I got the cash to get it, you can order your own. You can't afford it, that's the dog it alone. As soon as I wear it, the value's worth more than its gold. Matching a burgundy below in a roll. Gamble with life and I owed it, but I brought my cologne. I was born on the throne. I'm a king, I need a court of my own. All these rings like I'm ignoring my phone. My ancient aura is gold. Yeah. My ancient aura is gold. I've been touring and exploring the globe. It's how I hoard it, there's a storm in the stove. My ancient aura is gold. Yeah. My ancient aura is gold. Gorgeous porcelain imported from Rome. I promise I look 20 as a 40-year-old. My ancient aura is gold. I was born a prince. Cross on when the story fits. Horus in his human form exists.
Ooh-wee! It's only about the gold, baby. Only the gold is gonna keep you alive. This is Terry Riggs, Mr. Riggs in the place. And this is Black Eyes TV once again with an explosion. And I'm with my co-host, Mr. Richie. Mr. Richie.
Welcome, people. Big up, everyone. Nice one for joining us. Come in. You know the routine. Like, share, and subscribe. Today, one of the twin pillars with us, Mr. Blue Pill in the house, come to grace us. I do believe this is the first time as well he's been on by himself. I'm trying to think. I do believe this is the first time you've been on by yourself. So this is a first for the people and first for us. Obviously, we've spoken many times over the last 7 years. Met you a couple of times on your home turf. Built with you when you came here recently. And even done a digital event with you. So lots to talk about, a lot to build on. Obviously, the current situation on the roads is messy globally. So, you know, there's a lot of viewpoints and opinions going around. A lot of things happening for our people, you know, on a metaphysical level as well as on a physical plane that we need to be looking out for. So, you know, we're going to be covering the spectrum. You've seen the title, the evolution of the globe through technology and Neterflix. So, yeah, we're going to be touching on a few things. So, without further ado, you know, introduce yourself, brother, to the people, you know, make an opening statement you want, and then we'll get into this.
Oh, indeed. Peace, Love, and Lights, Brother Blue Pill, Port Live and Direct, one half of the Twin Pillars. Shout out to Red Pill, KT the Arts Degree, Mama Pill, the whole unit, researcher, innovator, healthpreneur, visionary, to name a few, you know.
No doubt, no doubt. For
Hold
those
on,
that
hold
don't
on.
know
Making noise.
what we hear is
It's the chitter chatter. I don't know what it's clicking on something. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Blue.
Yes, sir.
I want you to introduce yourself to the general public, especially like if there's people out there that don't know you and they want to get to know what you're about and everything. I just want you to give an introduction.
Okay. You saying something other than what I just did? You want me to just be a little bit more elaborate?
Yeah, elaborate. Because what is Blue? Who is Blue? What's the name Blue? How did it arise? No, because there's some people they don't know.
I tell long stories, man. I mean, I got a story for everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just don't have short stories. But yeah, the name Blue Pill, we can say for the most part, it somewhat derives out of the caricature of what people know about in the Matrix. But when I heard the meaning of it, I made an observation and I said, well, Neo was only alive when he was dreaming. And I know that that's where reality is created in the subconscious realm. I felt like what they told people in the movie was the fake out because he never defeated the Matrix. He only renegotiated his contract. So I was like, you know what? I'm a daydreamer. I get a lot of done in my dream state and I'm living my dream. Everything that I spoke about doing in my life, that's what I'm doing now. So I said, shit, I like the blue pill. You know what I'm saying? I gravitate towards that. Those were my colors anyway. As twins, my brother gravitated more towards the color red and I did towards blue. So that's what, kind of decided to go with that name, in that particular situation. There's more to the story, but I'm not going to get all the way into that right this second. Okay. And I'm one half of a duo. I have a twin brother. His name is Red Pill. I have a mother named Mama Pill who, was doing the work that everybody in the world is talking about right now with Dr. Sabi in the 80s. She cured the first HIV case in Brooklyn under the tutelage of Dr. Sabi. The client's name was a man named Frank White. And this was before the King of New York movie came out. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first AIDS case that they cured. And that was the case that actually, made them take the article out in the newspaper, the Village Voice and the Amsterdam News, which led to them getting the indictment by the state attorney general, Robert Abrams, which led to the case, which led to, everything else that the documentary will be covering shortly. We have a younger brother named KT, the Arts Degree, easily the smartest person on the planet that I know. Shout out to him and all of the work and the research, the diligent research that he does. So that's the surface description of who we are as a family. Then I have a lot of different personal accolades about what we have done in our career, you know, throughout the decades. You feel me? But I hear a little echo.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing the same thing.
Yeah, the thing that I learned because I've been utilizing StreamYard as well. It's like I think that there's a reason when we see people do podcasts, they be having the headphones on because we're getting the audio feed, especially if you're using our phones. I don't think that the phones are filtering the audio feed from coming back in, so we're kind of hearing ourselves echo. But when I like the other day when we did a Sophia Stewart show, Every time somebody spoke, I had to mute the phone and then just allow one audio feed to come in at a time.
Yeah, we find that's what we have to do most of the time here. Lock it off, or else we start getting feedback. That's why a lot of the time we leave our cameras off. It just sometimes detracts from the sound and shit like that. Let me just say on a quick one, though, for people that don't know, he just mentioned his younger brother KT arts degree. He's the reason. He's a reason for me how I came into contact with the brothers properly. He came to London, did an event, we filmed him, we sat down, we talked to him, go to Black Eyes TV archives, you can see that interview where he talks about his life story, him growing up with his mum, Dr. Davey, brothers, and talks about his journey. So go and check that out if you haven't seen that. That's definitely out there. Go Truto. Still there?
Yes.
All right, I think Terry. Yes. No, I think Terry dropped off for a second because I can't see him now. Oh, he'll probably come back in. All right, well, let's kick this off. Like, obviously, for those who don't know, you do a lot of breakdowns. You do a lot of, I would say, numerology is one of your big strong points and something that you crack or come up with a bit more in your talks and teaches over the last year, and as well as the health sector, because we know you got products and stuff. So let's start off with the lecturing, because I mean that's how I first started to know you on breakdowns that you used to go. So you know, where do you tend to come from? You know, what kinds of things do you look at and analyze and break down?
Okay. My training, is rooted in metaphysics, right? So the way that I make my observations is based on looking at things through a metaphysical lens, which means beyond the physical. I'm not just looking for surface connections. We're lifting the roof or the hood and looking underneath, because I wholeheartedly not only believe, but I know that there's no separation. Everything has a connection and a continuity in it. And I'm able to utilize numbers in order to find that continuity. So there's an ancient system called gematria where we turn words and letters into numbers. And understanding numbers, you understand frequency, and understanding frequency, then you find which one of these words have the same unilateral somewhat meaning. And based on us finding the commonality in those words and those particular frequencies, then we start going down a rabbit hole. So I would say metaphysics, the esoteric lens, which kind of borderlines on the occult, that's pretty much what I'm utilizing to make these particular observations that I make. And that kind of brings in a lot of different things, such as Gnosticism, such as cosmology, right? Such as astrotheology. Um, yeah, for the most part.
Now, again, when I met, from the time I met you, you seem to obviously take a more spiritual aspect and be into nature and health. Let's, I mean, why is that for you? Why does that side draw you more? Because again, when in contrast to your brother, he, I would say certain people would class him as more of a road city guy, in those ways, where I find your backdrop seems to be more of a nature setting. You seem to be more into that scene and draw your inspiration from that. Why is that?
Again, I feel that might mainly just be attributed to our different fluctuation of energy. You know what I'm saying? I resonate more with a water-based blue energy. I'm a water sign, so I've always found myself more in a natural setting. And that water, you know, also speaks to the depths of spirituality. I'm a Scorpio. So as a Scorpio who deals with the mysteries, you know, that really deals with deep diving. You know what I'm saying? Like really, really going into the mystery, going into the darkness of the mysteries as well. Not just being caught up in the light. Um, but a lot of that, and I early embarked. My health journey was before my brothers, more so, and I kind of was able to embrace the more healthier I got, or the more that I moved towards health. It brought me back into nature. It brought me back into wildlife. It brought me back into knowing, you know, what the trees are and what these leaves are, and you know, having appreciation. You know what I'm saying? I just took different. I've gone different in different directions that he has not yet gone, and that's not meaning that he hasn't been willing to. It's just dealing with the level of exposure. You know what I mean? I put myself in those environments and I was rewarded from that. So I continue to go to those environments. Whereas this might be something that he still needs to be convinced of. You feel me? So it's just about people's access and availability. Um, I needed something from nature when I was going through my transformation, because I started getting into veganism and health in the early 2000s, and there wasn't too many people that was on that wave. You know what I mean? KT was there, but KT was a child at that time. You know what I'm saying? KT was still in the basement studying, reading, books about human anatomy and biology and stuff like that. That wasn't my road dog. That wasn't somebody that I was necessarily running with per se, you know? So I had to go out there on my own and find out whatever it is that I needed to find out in terms of inspirations, and dealing with mushrooms earlier in life. Like we all had our own experience and exposure to mushrooms because of our relationship with Dr. Sabi. You know what I mean? But I had started dealing with mushrooms in a nature setting, in a natural setting, like going out into the woods. You know, as an artist, you know what I'm saying, I was always into sacred geometry and Fibonacci sequences and all of this amazing stuff. And I started seeing some of these things on my trips. I started seeing Fibonacci sequences in the plants. I started seeing all of the sacred geometry in nature. And I just got totally enraptured in nature. And I was like, yo, they speaking a whole different language out here. You feel me? And it's very hard to interpret that to somebody that's still in the city and they still trying to catch what the lingo is and the vibrations of the streets, because the streets speak their own language. You know what I'm saying? Not just the people in the streets, but the streets themselves. That environment, the way that we entertain and engage in our environment, you know, a lot of these particular environments demand your attention. It's almost necessary for you to survive these environments. You have to adapt to these environments. You have to listen to these environments. You have to know how to navigate through these environments. So a lot of people don't have the time, the wherewithal, or you know, the extra focus to be caught up in something that's not immediate to their environment, like nature. Nature does not exist in New York City. You know what I'm saying? There's no nature in New York City, only Central Park. And that shit is artificial, you know? So
You know? No, so I get that. But I'm saying that again, you know, although you are out in nature, you are also still in the city. You're still flexing on business. You're still online. So how, when dealing with normal city vibes, as you're saying, how do you meld the two? How do you not lose that initial nature edge that you have when you start to interact? Because remember, the title of the show is about, you know, how we're viewing it through technology and etc. etc. So how do those two things meld up for you?
yeah, I mean, it goes back to finding the balance, and that is your own internal personal journey, because you only utilize what you need. You know what I mean? You don't overindulge, and that's the thing that kind of throws us off. Because let's say for now I'm in Atlanta, right, and I'm on the phone with you, and I'm in the crib, but right outside of my window is the forest, right? Atlanta is an enchanted forest on top of a mountain that's masquerading as a city. This shit is really a forest. So you could live in Atlanta and still be into nature. Trails are all around you. You know what I mean? You can really go and find a nature, natural setting. So I just know how to divide my time in terms of saying, look, I'm online. I give a little bit of time online, and I mean, let's be honest. People are just getting a snapshot of our lives, and if you know how to stretch it online, it looks a lot longer than it actually is. The most that they'll probably get is an hour, unless that I'm going live. If I'm going live all day and I'm in the crib, then I'm shit. I'm on live all day. But when I'm not online, I'm outside. I'm moving around, and when I finish doing what I gotta do, I'm gonna walk through the woods. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go burn one and walk down the trail, right? Or I might just sit in the front lawn and just listen to the birds, or look at the sky and see what's moving and what's not. Make observations like our ancestors did. They just sat in nature and just observed. You know what I mean? So it's kind of easy for me, as long as I'm not in an environment that's like strictly concrete. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna fall back into the fold and find myself tapping in and grounding and doing whatever I got to do to like remind myself that this is not goals. You know what I'm saying? My goals are the Caribbean. My goals are the continent. You know what I'm saying? That's my goals. Being somewhere tropical or somewhere that's so indigenous and you know green and rural that
So,
I'm really getting into my element.
you,
Hmm?
you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is the mic still making a noise? I'm trying to fix the mic while we're talking.
Yeah, sounds like a street sweeper.
All right, give me one. Sorry, people. Yeah, trying to get this thing sorted.
Yeah, that sounds clear right there.
All right, cool, cool. Sorry to break the build, brother. I'm just trying to get this clear. 'Cause I see a few people asking me to try a few different things, but don't seem to be really working out right now. But it sounds better now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you sound clear.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, sorry, brother. Finish what you were saying now. My apologies for breaking the
No,
build.
no, no.
Because
Like
you
I
was talking
said,
about the Caribbean. That was the last thing you were saying, the Caribbean, about the Caribbean.
yeah, I was saying that I'm always a stone throws away from nature when I'm in a city like Atlanta, because Atlanta is an enchanted forest on top of a mountain that masquerades as a city. This is not really a city in the true sense of the word, because we're surrounded by nature. We're surrounded by preserves and you know and trails and mountains and hills and mounds and shit like that. Like all of that, Atlanta's a perfect city if you want to have one foot in a city dwelling and another foot into nature. It's a perfect place.
Mm. So what? Do you think them surroundings have helped you become more inspired to create some of the products now in the health side of the game that you've come up with? Because we know you got the gold, know you got the, I know you're looking into the weed product. Um,
Yeah,
you got the seed mod, haven't you, as well?
yeah, yes,
Yeah. So I mean, speak to those some of those products and where you got the inspiration for some of those things.
Yeah, let's speak about the weed in particular, or should I say the hemp, because that was my initial reason for coming back to. I was gonna spend time in London, right? After we visited, we were supposed to come back in December. I had plans to probably come out there and stay for at least 3 months, but an initiative that I was working on opened up with the hemp farming. We had got 100 acres out here in Georgia, in the country though, and we were just waiting on the state of Georgia to pass their hemp bill. So I had came down here in December waiting on that, and I'm thankful for that. That I had came to Georgia. I came to Georgia. I came back to Atlanta December 21st during the winter solstice, and I was ironically I was on a China bus for 16 hours, right, riding from New York to Atlanta. I got woke up by the sun about 8 a.m. and the sun started downloading and communicating with me, right? And the sun was like, yo, I need you to tell my story. Like, these niggas is not showing no respect to me whatsoever. It's like, I don't want you to get online and start bombing on people who celebrate Christmas, and the conscious niggas is always telling them what this winter solstice is. It was just like, just tell my story. And then allow Christians to have their Christmas. Don't bomb on nobody. Put the glass of clean water next to the dirty glass and let the people decide. So I started my whole narration about solar activation and corona rising. I started talking about that in December. You know what I'm saying? And then because I have I do my research and everything, I had seen in late December what was going on in China. And I kept seeing the number 4 pop up. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be good, because 4 is an ominous number in China, it means death, right? Because the character for the number 4 and the character for death are similar. So it's an omen. Like the number 13 is supposed to be an omen in the US. Number 4 is an omen in China. So I kept seeing 44s and 4s pop up. I was like, oh, this is not going to be good at all. You know, but I never stopped telling my story. I never stopped edifying the sun and telling the sun's story and reminding people that because we are in a Jubilee year, we're heading to a coronation year. You know, this is the solar activated year. This is the return of the king, right? There was a solar eclipse on December 26th, and there's going to be another solar eclipse on the summer solstice. This is the proverbial second coming. You know what I'm saying? This is the return. This is everything. This is 2012. This is all of it, all balled in one. And we should not be and allow ourselves to be distracted for the most part by the coronavirus. You feel me? But this was a situation that exposed everything that any and everybody ever wanted to know about Black community locally, right? Foreign and domestic. The lack of unification, the lack of a narrative, and the lack of a focus-driven directive, it kind of left us all exposed. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we're sitting back and we're making observations about Babylon. And I'm like, yeah, Babylon is falling, but that does not mean that Babylon is not going to reset. That does not mean that Babylon is not recalibrating itself for a comeback, right? So yeah, Babylon is dying, but Amazon is hiring. You know, so what do we think? That they're not one and the same? We think that one ain't got nothing to do with the other? You feel me? But what is Black people's contingency plan? What is the diasporic plan of melanated people in all 4 corners to say, while Babylon is dying, we on the uprise? That conversation ain't even start yet. And we going into May. We going into Gemini, which is the lungs. And people think that they seen something, you're gonna see something in Gemini. You know, when the energy of Gemini activates this crazy ass president, right? Because Gemini's mind, when his mental faculties go to shit in Gemini, then we really gonna see, you know what I'm saying, the dangers of not having a contingency plan. Because a contingency plan, you only need a window of opportunity and you're gonna move. Our people are still sedentary. They're not ready to do nothing, move, because they don't have no plans. They don't know where to jump, how to jump. They don't know nothing. They still confused. They still looking at TV. They're still, this is 2020, and they're still letting the TV tell lies to their vision. And then they coming online and arguing with people like ourselves who got prophetic vision enough to be like, look, if you niggas would only listen, right? We done told you this 3 months ago. So we could have been so far ahead, right? We could have been building out this Hemtropolis. We could have been building out everything we need, because everything we need, we got access to. But the people, oh God, the people.
Now I hear you. Late.
Bro.
Listen, that's the thing. When in your zones, because again, you're coming from a line of people when you've been lucky enough to be around loads of people who naturally think a certain way and live a certain way in a lot of aspects. But how hard is that being when you're kind of interacting with normal heads and you're still trying to get, you know, certain practical points across? How, you know, is that a problem? Do you find that headbanger? Do you find you doing a lot more educating as far as when you try to produce a product?
I mean, the products go over very well. You know what I mean? Um, Especially in an environment like this, people are health conscious overnight. You know what I'm saying? So the products came at a good time because we already had momentum, right? We was already on our marathon. We didn't just start running coming out of the gate in February or March when this thing started. We were already established in terms of, having enough of clientele to know what we represent. We had testimonials. People knew it was effective. Our marketing campaign never let up from last year until now. Gold Water as a company, shit, it ain't even be here. It's not even 1 year old. It'll be 1 year old in May, right? Next month is when we celebrate our first anniversary, but we never let up. We were in people's face every single day. So when a situation like this occurred, for some people, we were their first options to go to. And then, we connected the dots and brought the silver in. The CMOS, the Smart Morse pills, that came at a very opportune time as well, because that came before any hysteria. In late February, uh, going into March, we had launched Smart Morse, and we can't keep it in stock. I mean, these are sound products that for the most part they took on a life of their own, you know. Now but then somebody like my mom, Mama Pill, she has compounds that she's been utilizing since the time of HIV, since 1984, you know what I'm saying, to counteract viruses, diseases, infections, and any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? KT has his line of products. So it's ironically, it's harder to get the people. Oh, and then they had their CMOS. And then Lord knows, like, I mean, think about this, bro. Like, I've been attempting to educate people about CMOS since 2010. You feel me? So again, is it on us? Is it on the market?
Okay.
Or is it on the people? Is it about timing, right? Or is it about the truth? Because CMOS has been here. CMOS has been marketed to these people. CMOS has been put into people's face. I see people who I went to partner with to get the help for them when I was pushing CMOS before it was the latest fad. And they was like, damn, bro, I can't really help you right now. And them people are selling CMOS right now. You know what I'm saying? So is it on us or is it on the people? Because everything that the people need has always been here. The people is just now becoming hip to it. They've spent a lot of time focusing on the wrong things, right? And when they needed to recalibrate their focus and pay attention to what matters most, then it's like some of us is here and some of us is already going on to the next one. It's 7 billion people on the planet. Like, who has the time to be sitting there talking to the same people all day? And you've exhausted wild years speaking to them and telling them what time it is. Like, as a business opportunity, the community could have been all the way up if they understood what time it was. And they still don't get it. They still don't get it, bro.
Well, I mean, I think until people's minds are in a certain place, they're not gonna understand the holistic
No.
situation that they need to be working on. I think that was always the problem. People's heads was not in the right space to accept certain things. But go on, bro. What was you gonna say?
Bro, I'm talking about the smart niggas in the community. I'm talking about the smart niggas in the community who still don't get it. I'm talking about the networks in the community who still don't understand the collaborative process to be like, damn, if we was partnered, just imagine how many people could have benefited from a broader outreach of getting people real-time solutions. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest of the people who we're talking about, shit, you got mainstream media to market the information to them. What you mean to tell me today that they still don't understand that they got to build their immunity? Look, bro, look, the fucking planet is overcrowded. I do believe that. Some people got to go and everybody's not going to make it, right? So where we going to draw the line at? To be like, look, man, there's nothing else I can do for you. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to be injecting disinfectant like Trump said. Maybe that's, maybe you was sent here for that. Maybe that was your prepackaged. That shit is in your linear notes of your contract somewhere. If you don't get it at this point, what else do you need? Because they have, right, successfully made people fearful. I mean, these niggas is terrified out here, bro. Right? But they still not scared enough to do something for themselves. Who's gonna do it for them? And how's that gonna happen? How's that gonna happen? So when you in a position like that, and there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? And maybe 3 billion of them is your people. At what point do you have to become comfortable with being like, yo, I might lose 1 million. I might lose 1 million to save 1 billion, right? Those are decisions that you have to make because it's not even enough to go around, let alone, the people that are not getting or gravitating towards the message. If my message or the healers or the herbalists' message is not for you, man, good luck with them vaccines. Good luck with them drugs. Good luck in them hospitals. Good luck, right? But we see the way that that's going, right? That's a brick wall. It's nobody. It's very few people that are busting through that. A friend of mine made it out of the hospital after 10 days, but he said he'll never be the same person again, right? This is jacking people up. I don't have no idea even what this is. I just know that we have been able to successfully throw some things at it and back it down and slow it up. Because I know that if it's nanotechnology, which we know that it's nanotechnology, right? Our products are in angstrom form. So these are billions times smaller than a nano. So whatever it is, the silver is getting in the cell and it is defeating it. It is killing it. And then there's other things that we're utilizing to stop the reproduction of it and then to get it out of the cell altogether. I don't know anything other than that has been working. You feel me? I haven't heard too many people come to me with success stories about, yo, we've been able to curate. I wouldn't even say cure, to curate corona or COVID. You feel me? So I can't even tell you what we up against. It's a variation of things. It's damn sure not just one thing going on out here. I don't know what's going on in the UK, but I'm telling you what's going on out here. Whatever this thing is, 2 to 3 days, it's taking people out. 2 to 3 days. And the flu don't do that. And these ain't weak people either. Right? So if people is not convinced that they need to prioritize their health, if they're not convinced that they need to be building up their immune system, however they go about doing that, and there's not too many ways around how to do it, what you gonna do with these people? You feel me? It's like in the Matrix when Neo was trying to hold a helicopter up. Nigga, you need to let the helicopter go, right? You can't hold no helicopters up. You feel me? You're gonna pull yourself down with it. And that's the situation that we're at. You're gonna pull yourself down with it. Okay? You gotta prioritize your energy and your effort towards the people who need it the most right now. Because you just can't go out there trying to spread your message to the masses, trying to convince people of nothing right now. That time is over.
No, I feel you on that one totally, bro. I don't think I can argue with that. What I will ask you though is, besides the physical health, you got the mental health. What kind of queries and stuff are you coming up against or having conversations about in your zones? And what kind of advice do you give people in regards to their mental health?
This fire right here. This fire right here is to help people calibrate their mentality back towards being what I call unapologetically optimistic. You know what I mean? Turn the TV off. You can't talk like I talk or think like I think if you're looking at TV. Because the TV is the spell. They're rocking people to sleep with that TV. And they damn sure don't know what time it is. So how are they authorities to tell you anything if they admittingly in the same voice saying, well, shit, we don't know nothing. If the doctors don't know and the professionals don't know, how the hell the media know? So what you looking at TV for? Right? So it's the mental paralysis. The fact that I tell people Americanism is the biggest religion on the planet. Americanism, right? And that is comprised of a priesthood that supersedes the Pope and all of that. Trump be middle fingering the Pope. They don't care about that. So whoever's the Caesar of this new Rome, that's the Caesar of the biggest religion on the planet. So the fact that melanated people in this country, right, have to get a daily dosage of their belief and their hope from church. Yo, the state came in here and closed the church on them, right? So you're looking at a people who are not able to get their daily dose. What are they going to do? They're going to go to the lesser lights. So they turn on the TV, they're looking at the celebrities for advice, and they're looking at Trump for leadership, because these people are strict adherents, right, to the fact that they can't afford for Babylon to fall. They can't afford for that, right? These people are not in an anarchist mind state. They very much want this shit to succeed so they could go back to the strip clubs, and they could go back to making it rain, and they could go back to the conspicuous consumption, right? That's what they in this for. They're not in to see nothing fall. Are you serious? So we got to get people's mentality out of stops. You can't see this white man as God, right? That's the first cure to your mental paralysis, because our people are faint out looking at the heavens and the stars, waiting for a savior, and they're looking at TV and waiting for Trump to be the savior on earth, right? That's their vicegerent. To him, look, when they be like, God bless America, you think that that's not a spell? You think that the people that live here do not think that America is blessed? You think that the people don't think America is blessed? They think America is blessed. So they feel that whoever is connected to that blessing is blessed as well, right? There's so many black people that are caping for Donald Trump right now. I can't even talk about him crazy in public, right? I gotta have a bulletproof vest on if I do that out here. These niggas will shoot me or shoot at me if I talk crazy about Caesar, right? Because they are intrinsically tied in to the success of Babylon rebounding. They cannot afford to see it fail. So yes, we have to go in there and unwire people's hardwiring. Their hardwiring is deep, man. It's like performing heart surgery. It's like going into the brain and moving around the neurons, right? And you got Siri telling you directions. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is deep, man. Like, I'm listening.
Sorry, that was my mic that just made it. But I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, I get it. Their mental stability is tied to the system. So if you start to dismantle certain realities around them, they cannot survive in that.
It's gonna make them go
If they don't
crazier.
get those realities,
So it's just what I was
now,
saying, right? In order to save 1 billion people around the world, melanated, right? Let's say it's 3 billion of us. So let's even make the number even broader. Let's say it's 3 billion of us. Are you comfortable saying, shit, I might have to lose 1 billion to save 2? Because those are the decisions that you have to make, right? In order to make sure that Babylon topples, right? Like I said, our people, well, like they say, they be like, yo, Martin Luther King led our people into a burning house. I'm like, shit, our people is in the master bedroom of that burning house, right? And they up under the comforters. They done decorated the house, right? They are the beams that are holding this house up. So if this house falls, it's gonna fall on our people primarily. The Europeans is somewhat, they bunkered down here in the United States. They've been preppers since 2000. They're not running out to Walmart or none of them things to get nothing. They already got it. They've already closed off their communities. They're not open to no strangers. Our people is caught up in the cities, not knowing their ass from nowhere. They don't know nothing. They don't know where to go. They don't know where they're at. They don't got access to resources. They don't know where to get clean water, right? If the grid goes down, they don't know how to move around in the dark. They don't trust one another. You want to see the evil that men do? Wait till the lights go out. You feel me? So our people is hit when it comes to, there will be no securing of the mental faculties. People we were categorically as a people already in mental deterioration in the US. You seen grown men walking around talking to themselves with business suits on. That was taking place all the last 5 or 6 years out here. So now a situation like this arises where you're probably going to see 60% unemployment, right? With only a select few being able to maintain employment in an essential job sector, and the rest of them jobs getting eat up by AI or other foreign nationals or whoever they bring in here to replace Negro workforce, because that's dead. That's done. That's done off. It was already on its way out of here. It's out of here, right? You're gonna see homelessness not quadruple in this country. It's gonna 10x. What are they gonna do with these people? How are they gonna feed these people? And the food pandemic is coming next because there's no food here. They were only creating food in this country to feed animals. So the animals could be food for the meat industry. The meat industry is dead. So now they got to kill the animals. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't sell dairy no more, because dairy was contingent upon the restaurant industry, the hotel industry, and the schools. All of them joints is closed. They can't afford to continuously feed the animals, right? It's 93 million animals. They can't continuously feed those animals. Why? Because it's a shortage on the food that they're going to feed them, first of all. Second, they got to pay to eat them. And third, they're not going to be able to sell them. So now the animals become a liability. So now they're going to kill these animals off. They're going to store the meat and wait until the winter time, so when Thanksgiving come around, they can still sell it, especially to niggas, right? Feed it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. All they got to do is starve the African American or the blacks in this country for a good 2 to 3 weeks, let alone a month. They're going to eat anything that you bring to them, right? So it'll be like soil and grain. They're going to mix anything into anything. They did the same thing to them in 2018. They had a hurricane in September of 2018. The hurricane wiped out the entire pig industry in North Carolina. Bro, do you know what pigs was going for in October, a month before Thanksgiving? You think that they killed them pigs and threw them out? No, they fed them to niggas. Hence the fact that you keep hearing people in the United States tell you, shit, the coronavirus been here since 2018. Right? I had this shit in February in December of 2018 going into 2019. I had it. Keys had it. My dude Ken had it. I know mad people that had it. And everybody say the same thing. Yo, that shit almost killed me. I ain't never went through nothing like that in my life. So people is going crazy out here talking about, yeah, it's like the flu on steroids. It ain't like the flu though. I ain't never had the flu. But it's like the flu on steroids, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
No, listen. The virus here, you know, it's a mad one because same way you're saying people aren't really hearing it. Again, for people who don't know, Blues in Atlanta. So right now, we was talking just before the show about him taking down the lockdown and obviously allowing everybody out. And this mentality now where everybody's just springing to the streets and, you know, moving like savages again. You know, when you look at the state of America and your surroundings, like you've already stated that you don't believe certain people are gonna make it, and I believe that as well. I think being in the people always talk about the age of Aquarius and knowing, but sometimes they tend to think that knowing something is gonna be a nice experience when getting to know something certain times isn't nice. It isn't gentle. It has to happen abruptly. It has to happen with you seeing countless deaths of people for you to kind of understand what time frame and environment you're living in. You understand? But when you look at the continent now, what in your head, how do you see that playing out? Because again, we had a brief
Well,
conversation about that before. Talk about that.
I have been saying since January of this year that Africa was going to be faced with a famine, right? Because when, again, I was following all of the news stories and I was already in my biblical bag because of what the sun was communicating to me, right? It was saying, tell my story. And I did a movie when I came back from the UK called Christ Consciousness. And it was my way of kind of introducing the metaphysical concept of Christ energy or the rising of Christ consciousness energy, like it was taught to me by my master teachers. So I kind of knew in 2020 we was going to synchronize with that time. So I made a project, shot a movie for it. People can find it right now on Neterflix.com. But I shot that movie. The sun started communicating to me. And then, you know, I seen the first plague, pestilence. Then I seen the second plague, which was the locust, goddammit. So I immediately went to my book and it said that the third plague would be the famine. Oh, and then it was war, rumors of war. And that happened on January 2nd when they killed the Iranian general. So all of the horsemen was lined up, right? I'm looking at this. And I don't care what nobody say, because this is when they was arguing about religion on platforms. And I don't follow what nobody say, right? I just listen to the voice in my head and I read the signs on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, look at all the horsemen. Look at war. Look at pestilence. Look at famine. You know what I'm saying? And mass death is coming. So I seen the locusts, man. I seen the locusts in Africa. I had seen the locusts last year. The locusts hit Saudi Arabia last year in Mecca. That was last year was the setup. The last year was the sign or heralding of things to come. So we was already on top of things. I looked at what happened with Nipsey as a herald, as a sign. I looked at what happened with Vaughn Benjamin and Midnight as a sign. But I also seen them locusts, right, that tore through Saudi Arabia during Hajj of last year. So the locusts popped up in Africa this time. And I'm looking at China and I'm looking at Africa. And I'm saying, yo, Africa grows food for China, but the world buys food from China, right? So I'm like, if Africa is losing its food supply and China ain't gonna have no food, who's the world gonna buy food from since they buy it from China? So I already knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to tell people, yo, you gotta prepare, man. It's gonna be a global famine, but it's gonna smack Africa crazy because Africa don't grow their own food. They grow food for other countries. They don't grow food for themselves no more. They import food. You feel me? But the places that they import food from ain't gonna have no food because there's gonna be a strain on the demand based on the fact that you're taking China out of the game for so much. China's the manufacturing hub of the fucking globe. And my apologies for using this language. I didn't violate Ramadan. But I knew it was coming. So there's always two sides to every coin. You know what I'm saying? We still have the ability to get into Africa with resources and turn the tide. Even this farming initiative that we're doing out here, you know, it's a hydroponics greenhouse farming initiative, and we can bring a full yield in 6 to 8 weeks. You know, we can grow anything in that greenhouse. Africa should be no different. You know what I mean? They should be ordering 100 of those greenhouses and turning the tide and finally getting their people some nutrition. Because I've been looking at pictures of people famished in Africa since the 80s. And one of the main things that my mother always points out, right, is she's like, look, all of them people are suffering from malnutrition. You can't ever fight back when you're malnourished. She was like, look in their eyes, look in their face. That's the look of malnutrition. So they might have been eating, but they haven't been eating food in Africa for a long time. They've been under the spell like everybody else has. Sabi went to Africa and he got thrown out on his head, right? He said that they're addicted to blood and starch. Who am I to tell them that? Who am I to say anything different? I don't know too many fucking African vegans. I don't know too many Africans that advocate, you know, anything green coming out of the ground other than marijuana. You know what I mean? So this would be an opportune time for Africa to build up its immunity as well and to get back to the things that it has as natural resources rather than following the way of Americanism. Americanism, once again, is the biggest religion on the planet, right? And everybody adheres to it, to the West. Okay? The West is the only place on the planet that doesn't have its own gods. Everywhere else does, right? But the West, the god out here is that dollar bill. And whoever's the emperor that sits on the throne, that's the Caesar of the day. So, that's why they got Obama in the building, right? Because Africa was the most vital piece of the chessboard at that time. And it's still the race for Africa. In order for quantum supremacy, America is tied in with a three-leg race right now with China. It's a trade war still, right? It's a race for Africa because the race for Africa, whoever wins Africa gains space. Whoever gains space gains quantum supremacy. So Africa is the most vital piece on the chessboard. But if we don't make a connection to intercede on behalf of Africans, just to bring different farming initiatives that we have, whatever we can offer, you know what I'm saying? Just nutritional education. We think that they know what time it is, but I don't think that they know what time it is. Because they're not going to the places. They look, man, there was places in Africa that they were starving, bro, and they had moringa trees all around them. There's places in Africa that's starving and they got baobab trees all around them. Right? You could grow wild hemp on thousands of acres of Africa and feed Africa right now with hemp seed and hemp milk and different derivatives. Because the white boy, he's just going to come there and pour white milk down their throats just like he did in Haiti and use it as a photo op. And niggas going to be forever grateful. And them niggas will kill you if you say something about them NGOs because they love them so much because they come there and they give them mucus. Now tell me if I'm lying, right? Because I be in the UN with these African dignitaries and you can't tell them nothing about the European. So
I'm hearing you. Listen, we talked about earlier about when you came here to the UK recently.
yes.
I know it was an eye-opener for you. And I know you and your brother identify with your Moorish heritage. When you came here, I know it kind of opened your eyes, and you spoke about this earlier about the unity that's needed across the diaspora, the one mind state.
Yes.
How was that amplified when you came here? Talk about that little, of that experience coming here and how that reinforced some of the things that you've been saying. Yes. Terry.
He just he dropped out. We're gonna try see what's happening. 2 seconds. People press share, like, and subscribe. He's back. Yes.
Yeah,
he's back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Blue, I wanted to put into the equation, right?
yes.
When you did come over here and the time when we went into Parliament, where we went into the government building and how you felt about that.
Yes. How did I feel about that?
Yeah.
It was a very deep experience because I felt that we vindicated our ancestors by putting in a most unprecedented level of work that was most unexpected. So they didn't get to prepare for it. You know what I'm saying? We slid in there, and we brought our ancestors with us and we held court, right? Right in one of the very places where they probably have held court and came up with all sorts of diabolical legislation, you know what I'm saying, to put their foot in their neck on all of their colonial establishments around the world, especially on the continent. So the fact that we had queens and kings and dignitaries melanated in there, we came up with a melanated agenda, you know what I'm saying, on their grounds and their floors, it was astral warfare taking place in there between our ancestors and theirs, you know? Um, and we were given the warning, you know what I'm saying? We was given the warning at that point in time that we needed to tighten it up and build these bridges diasporically to the four corners of where melanated people exist on this planet, in the Americas, North, Central, and South, in the Caribbean, throughout Europe, and on the continent of Africa, right? What is the diasporic agenda? And we were speaking about having a economical or economic forum or something that we can collectively see eye to eye on, you know what I'm saying? And, the lady before we left, she was telling us, because they have a foot in the UN as well, she was telling us about the Real ID Act and how it was going to impact back here in the States. So when I got back home, I started doing my research on it. and asking questions, because there was speculation that there was a piece of that legislation that spoke about mandated adult vaccines. He's like, wait, what? Mandated adult vaccines? Where's that coming from? You know, now we live in an environment where all of that is all of that is a go. You know, they set the stage, should I say, where they don't gotta explain it, they ain't gotta force it. They just gotta sign off on it. And either you with it or you not. And for the people who's not with it, you know, we gotta find a different way, because it's not gonna be accepted. You know, our denial and refusal of it is not gonna go over so easy this time. You understand? They're looking to crush the dissenters, and they're setting up a psychological operation in the minds of the rest of the Americans to support them on that initiative. You feel me? They're gonna turn the people against us. It's not even gonna be them coming no more. They're gonna send the people at us. You understand? So that's the predicament that we're looking at. That the mind washing and the brainwashing in this country is so bad, they're going to unleash the people on the prophets and, you know, the other people who are coming forth with solutions and plans and good news and information. Right? They're already utilizing their you know, their plants. We call them the woke community in this country. Right? The celebrities that jack our bars and go on platforms and regurgitate the same shit that we talking about on the underground. Right? They're setting them up, and they're utilizing the influence that they have been able to gain by standing next to some people in this community. Right? They have given them authenticity by just associating with them. And now those same people are toting the official line about vaccines, about, you know, trying to talk crazy about eating healthy for immune system, talk crazy about people that are warning other people about 5G. Look at the talking heads. Look at the people who are the proponents for the machine, right? Those people, you know what I'm saying? Those people are the ones that have to be watched. So, did I answer that?
I feel you. No, you really did. No, you really did. You was cool. Listen, Kontu, can you hear me? You remember our brother Kontu you met when
Yes.
came up,
Man Academy.
you know? That's all. Kontu, you there? 'Cause I know he had some questions that he wanted to ask you. We hit the hour mark, so I wanted to give him a chance to ask you if he's still there and available. Now, there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here. Greetings.
Greetings.
Brother.
Peace.
Bless, man. Yeah, it's a beautiful
We
bill.
see you, but you're not moving. Frozen.
Huh?
Ah, there you are. Yeah, we can hear you now, brother. I know you. I was just saying to Blue, yeah, I know you wanted to ask some questions yourself and get a chance to dialogue. So, hit that hour mark. Everybody that's joining us so far, they got in the chat room, like, share, subscribe, you know, to play. Kontu, ask your questions, take it away into the dialogue, brother.
Yes, greetings, Brother Blue.
Peace.
See you, man. I mean, I just want to say it's been a beautiful journey over the years. Me, Richie, and Terry, we've chopped it up in Harlem with you and Red and the other brothers. You came over to the UK, you know, and yeah, it just seems there's an interconnection in the diasporans, you know, the conscious diasporans, UK and US, you know. So bless, man. You know, yeah, I've just totally, my news is you and Red predominantly. You know, like they said, Public Enemy. They said back in the day that the CNN of the black community. Well, at the moment, Know the Ledge Media is the CNN of the conscious community, the diaspora around the globe, you know, and the knowledge and the wisdom and the that you're spitting, yeah, it's just really unplugging our people globally, you know. So just keep on spitting what you're spitting, man, you know, on the Instagram lives, on the YouTubes. But I just wanted to go in. We're both Scorpios as well as Terry. So, you
Yeah.
know, I just wanted to go in deep, just on the narratives that you've been putting out globally, on your channels. I mean, you speak about we started mildly with 2020 vision, you know, and we have to remember polarities. You speak about Corona rising. The polarity of that is coronavirus. You know, they're speaking about 5G. Really, my focus is 5D, fifth dimensional ascension. So
Yes.
really, I just want to go in on your viewpoints and really get a simplified version maybe for the people who may not have knowledge of it. But you know, I've seen your narratives around sun eruptions the size of Jupiter going on. Your narratives about the sun spitting out strange gamma rays. Your narratives about a celestial sphere hovering around the sun.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
while everyone's getting dramatic about 5G, and there's going to be 6G, there's going to be 7G, there's going to be 8G, 9G, 10G. All right. So that's just a given. But in terms of, let's say, fifth dimensional ascension, we hear it coming from you know, the spiritual leaders of India, the narratives we see coming from the New Age um, Americans, we see coming from the conscious community. And I just wanted your perception of where are we going celestially and where are we going spiritually on the planet in terms of the things that are happening down here on this planet, the chaos, but also if you're looking up at the skies, something's generating. So yeah, I just wanted your perception on the ascensions that are happening and the celestial things that are happening above, as above, so
Yeah.
below.
As above, so below, as the saying goes. And you know, we're looking at a stirring in the heavens. We're looking at, you know, like you said, different heavenly bodies are being activated. You know, I observed the moon on the last full moon. I believe it was April 7th. You know, the moon was skating across the sky. It was rapidly moving. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that I can explain that is that something has awakened in the people in their subconscious, because that's what the lunar body represents. The solar body represents people's conscious mind, but the subconscious is represented by the lunar aspects. You know what I'm saying? The moon. And when you see the moon come alive and you see the moon luminous and beaming like it's a sun, that means that something has awoken in the people. You know what I'm saying? Something is awoken in the people. Um, and as I was telling the story earlier, like I said, in December, the sun was asking me to tell its story, as crazy as that might seem. You know, I mean, it's a voice in my head. I'll get a beam of light on me, and then I start having a conversation with that higher force, that higher energy, that voice in my head. And
Mhm.
the voice is like, look, man, tell my story, because we are going into a heightened solar active year. And this will
Mhm.
be tantamount to what the scriptures are talking about with the return of the second son and the second one and all of this stuff that we keep hearing about in these books. They're talking about this solar activated sun that is going to come online this year and emit gamma radiation, and for the most part mutate us as a people. Now, how
Mhm.
you end up mutated, you know what I'm saying, and what you end up on looking like or feeling like on the other side of things depends on where you're at right now. Hence the emphasis for people to clean themselves up and to get their diet straight. You know, the universe is working on this. You know what I'm saying? So it we can say something is man-made, you feel me? And the elders, I have I'm part of a traditional system on the continent, and the elders called and they did the ABO, and it was like, look, this is man-made, but there's spirit in this too. Spirit's hand is in this as well, right? There's nothing that man does the spirit doesn't have his hand in. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that man does in secrecy or private that's outside of the scope and the eye of creative force.
Yeah.
So all of this is being utilized for something that needs to be done to push people into a place where they're never going to be the same again. And that shouldn't be scary. It should be scary for people who are not prepared. But if you prepared yourself, then you're ready, willing, and able to go through this transformation. So before I knew any of the logistics about what was going to go on with the sun, I had the inspiration from the sun itself telling me that it was about to activate. You know what I'm saying? Then when I seen the sun go into a solar eclipse the day after Christmas, like I said, I'm a student of metaphysics. I know about symbolism. I'm symbol literate. You know what I'm saying? I already know that solar eclipses themselves represent Christ's energy. So to have one the day after Christmas or Christ Mass, and then to know that the next one is going to come on the summer solstice, the entire story about the sun's ascension is alchemy. It's from turning lead into gold, because the sun dies for 3 days in the winter solstice, right? And that is under the sign of Sagittarius, which is tying it into Jupiter, but it comes out in Capricorn, which ties it into Saturn. So Saturn is lead, and then the sun's ascension goes from its leaden state all the way to its trajectory to Leo, to its most glorious station, which is in Leo, which is symbolized by the sun, which is symbolized by gold. So the whole story of the alchemist, right, is from churning lead into gold. It's tying yourself, your soul's journey, your hero journey, into the ascension protocol of the sun coming from the grave, or the sun dying on the cross and being in the tomb for 3 days, you know what I'm saying, and then rising from the grave and ascending and shit like that. This is that whole story, right?
Yeah.
But it takes place on the planet in people, right? Christ is going to rise in you. Christ consciousness is about millions of us coming online, being activated with a Christos synergy. And that Christos synergy is shit. Are you gonna fight against Rome? Huh? Are you gonna, you know what I'm saying, survive the temptations of this devil dictating and telling you how to run your life, and now wanting to implant you and your baby and all this other weird stuff that the devil is getting into? You gonna sit still and let that happen? Or you gonna, what you've been indoctrinated with all of your life, is that stuff gonna kick in? Because you just was not exposed to them books and exposed to them doctrines just to throw it all out for some goddamn consciousness that you don't know how to use. Right? What does it look like? Where is it at? It's 2020. Where's these conscious niggas at? Right? Where's the spirituality they keep talking about? It didn't work. You can't utilize it. It's like you can't strike a match without the matchbook. You feel me? People threw out the whole matchbook thinking they could strike a match off of what? What you gonna strike it off of? We don't have no background theology, information, and none of that stuff that's gonna self-ignite us. But if we want to take it back to Kemet, let's say, okay, we in the times of Harakuchi. You ready to fight? Right? If we want to take it back to Ifa, well, you in the times of Shango. You ready to fight? We want to go. Where do you want to take it to? Right? Because it's not the doctrines, it's the people. The people don't have a heart. The people don't got no fight in them. The people don't have no faith in nothing. The people don't have a story. What is your mythos? Right? How you gonna be on this planet? You don't have no mythology. So that's what we're dealing with. Look, there's no backboards to shoot the ball off. Right? It's only air balls at this point. Where's the backboard? The backboard is the history, right? The rim is the mystery, and you got to shoot the shot. You can get everything at this time, like all the gates. Look, the books are open and the seals are broken, right? I don't know what people doing though. Those times are here. We're in it, right? But it don't make no sense sitting by and saying, yo, Babylon is falling. No, you push it over, right? And then you put dirt on it and you put a stake in it and make sure it's dead, because Babylon is falling, but it's recalibrating. It ain't like it's going to stay down. It's restructuring itself. But at the time that it's falling, that's when we're supposed to be rising up. That's when we're supposed to be unifying. That's when all of our best ideas are supposed to be coming forth. We're supposed to be getting ready for this all our lives, right? What were we talking about if we were not getting ready for this? That's what people have to self-evaluate. What the hell was you spending time talking about if you're not ready for now? Because it's on and popping. It's shaking. So there's going to be 10 times the amount of UV radiation coming from the sun, right? The solar flares that are coming from the sun are going to be more intense than ever. You know what I'm saying? You know, as you've seen already, they have solar flares 5 times the size of Jupiter erupting off of the sun. Coronal mass ejections, what they call CMEs, they're going to be intensifying. So as we move into the summer, right? And then they have a whole luminous body that's right next to the sun. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, bro. And then you got the C19, which is the comet / asteroid that you can see in the night sky right now. It's the brightest star in the sky. Oh, it's the brightest object because it's not a star. But it's the brightest, it's the brightest object in the sky right now.
I've seen it.
The sun has a whole nother luminous little sun next to it. Right? There's a lot going on, bro. And this is only April. This is only technically the first month of the astrological new year.
Yeah.
Everything else was a warm-up. We in it now, right? We in it. And we heading to the summer solstice, like I said, which will be another major solar eclipse. And then the sun is going to Leo, right? Where it's going to act a fool, because now that will be the 1 year mark on August 20th. We celebrate a jubilee for a year, according to scripture, if we're going to follow. Because like I said, if our people spent their entire goddamn life in that book, whether we approve of it or not, right? Take ourselves out of this conversation. Our people done put in blood, sweat, and tears. And many a years following that book and putting energy into it. My thing is, goddamn it, if you invested so much time in that book, who are you in the book?
Yeah.
Who are you? Because you can't tell me you spent all that time, you can't find yourself in that book. Then you played yourself. But Nana gave life to that book, right? And the spiritual and the Negro spiritual and the gospels and the way that the pastors, we are the first, our people, right, are the first people that ever demonstrated what compassion looks like, right, in terms of a Christian. There's been no other people on the planet who have ever exhibited what compassion looks like in Christianity. Black people did that. Yeah. We're the only ones that did that. We're the only ones that brought that book to life. I don't care what nobody say, right? So to throw the baby out the bathwater, people playing themselves. If they can self-identify who they are in that book, then they should start following the dictates of what that says. So you just celebrated 400 years of coming up from under your curse, which means that you have a 1 year jubilee, right? Hence the fact that you see these niggas on Instagram partying in the midst of a coronavirus. They're still upholding their mandate of jubilee.
Yeah.
Look, there's a silver lining in everything, right? The party continues. The year of return in Ghana did $1.9 billion when the children of the sun came back to the Gold Coast. That's what our whole year was supposed to look like. So they had to bring a distraction.
Yeah.
They had to bring a distraction. This thing would have been rocking off the chain. But what I'm saying is that when we get back into Leo, that will be the melanated people's coronation, right? When you're supposed to take the throne, when the King of Kings returns back into Leo, when this activated sun goes back into its most holy place in Leo, that's when melanated people are supposed to take their place on the throne right now. We got to ask, are we ready? You know what I'm saying? Have we been preparing and working out for this and cleaning and clearing our temple, enlightening our souls so we can be the light beings who we keep saying that we are? This is metaphysics. This is occult Christianity. All of it wrapped in one. Rasta, Islam. This is all wrapped in one, right? Who's gonna step up and knock the ball out the park? That's the only thing the universe wants to know. Not the colorful names the niggas then giving themselves and what denomination. No, who's gonna step up and hit this home run?
Right.
And slay this beast. That's the only thing that the universe needs to know right now, because it can't do nothing else with you. If we are the people that are not those people, then it can't do nothing else with us. Then it's species terminus. Like, what are we gonna do with you niggas? Right? The book said we done swept up many of y'all before. Why you think that our people would be an exception? Right? So the shit that will come the year after, like the virus that's gonna return in the winter. No, that's gonna be the one. Then that's gonna be the one. This is gonna be the final chapter. If we don't get it right now, we don't want to be around when the second one comes.
I hear you loud and clear. Yeah, I just wanted to flip the script for a moment, and I just got one more inquiring question, and that is to do with neurocinematics. That's to do with the Black Panther phenomenon, and that is to do with Sophia Stewart, who you recently interviewed.
Yes.
Now there's an interconnection metaphysically with Sophia Stewart and yourself, and Red, because it's in your names. So we know she's the mother of the Matrix, the author of the original Matrix. The Matrix 4 is coming out soon. I hear it.
So they say.
Whispering on social media. But I just want to know personally, what was the jewels that you got from Sophia Stewart's interview? What was the downloads? Because I could see by the end of the interview, all of your eyes were sparked. And then the interview ended.
we was mind blown. I mean, the thing that set it all off, she was like, Ali was the prototype for Neo. You know what I'm saying? That's that Black Art protocol. So just understanding that connection and that correlation, and just seeing or just listening to the mother tell her story and get into her bag. And she was saying some of the things that I'm saying right now. Just knowing that we're on the same frequency. You know what I mean? And she's putting her soul into her art. And that's what's resonating so much. We live in her story right now. But I'm telling her, because I'm that was my attempt at empowering her to say, if this is your story, you can write the ending. You know what I'm saying? The ending is what you say it is. Get out of the frame mind if they took something from you. Get out of the frame mind of it's not said and done until it's said and done. You can still end this story. You can still write the final chapter to this, in real time. Not in the movies, because the movies is done. Hollywood is done. That's done. That died with Harvey Weinstein, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's something else right now. I'm telling her, it's Godlywood. It's not Hollywood. Like, take your power back. Don't let these people see you in anything other than your God self. You feel me? So I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I learned, if nothing else, like I said, that she's the oracle. That was Earth Day. I had been doing a woman webathon that entire day, and we capped it off like that. So yeah, the Black woman is a Godhead. You know what I'm saying? And she definitely has something, melanated women in particular, have something to say. And we need to give more platforms for them to be heard, because that really balances thing out. When you hear mother speak, it really balances thing out. You know what I mean? So she's the truth, man.
That's the good thing about what we have every Sunday. at 5 o'clock, where we give the space for every woman to come to speak their voice.
Dope.
So any women that feel that they need to speak out, we give them the opportunity to able to doing so. And that's
Yeah,
around 5
let me know.
o'clock every Sunday.
I would love
Yeah.
to promote that.
Yeah, because it's called the International Sister Circle. And what it is getting our women coming together to one space so that they can able to maneuver globally, because we need our women to start making that maneuver to creating that balance.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to promote that. I wish more people in my network knew about that. You know what I mean? They can participate and the link ups can happen because, I mean, the women is just magical. They make shit happen and they move on it mercurially, quick. And they make it snap. They make it do what it do. You know what I mean? So we need to foster a lot more of those relationships. You know what I mean? We need to curate a lot more of that magic. Step back, just let them do what they do. Because they know what they do.
Mr. Riggs, am I correct? So International Sister Circle, isn't it a combination of Queen Diambi, Queen of Fua, the sacred woman in the US, and the sacred women in the UK?
It's worldwide. We're looking for most of the elderly women to come together. So like, even I was gonna even ask Blue Pill about Mother Pill, in forms of collaborating Queen Diambi, Mother Pill, Queen of Fua, all the elderly women as the mothers, and then the other ladies will take charge within the circle, which are worldwide. We've got women from Canada, we've got women from the UK, like Birmingham, Manchester, and London. And we're still waiting on Brazil, which we have 2,800 women waiting to join and to collaborate. So we're looking for people to able to interact who can speak Portuguese. There is women in the Congo, Zimbabwe, Ghana that are going to be jumping on board. So it's a collaboration of all women around the circuit to coming together to push in that narrative. So all they have to do is just go check up any woman that wants to join, just go to internationalsistercircle.com and they can just register, and then they can take part within their own area. Doesn't have to be, they don't have to be in some big space, they can be in a small space, and then able for them to come together and to able to collaborate, because it's that time. We need that energy power of the women to able to create in that full balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'll talk to you offline and I'll talk about that. Yeah. And then and in the forms of our children, as Konsu knows, in the forms of the Manhood Academy, into guiding, as I said, we're always looking for ambassadors and people to guide the younguns to the aspect. Give him a bit more information on that, Konsu.
Yeah, I'm also one of the directors, the founders of an organization called the Manhood Academy for Boys. We have the Womanhood Academy for Girls also, and the Parenthood Academy for Families. So we holistically support our community. Essentially, it's rites of passage. We term it urban rites of passage. It's the initiation from boyhood to manhood. So we've been this will be our 5th year, and we've done such excursions. We took a group of boys to Gambia to initiate their manhood in terms of taking on challenges in Africa and coming back as men. And we have that's the teenagers. We also have an 8 to 12-year-old program, the babies, and they do preparatory rites of passage. They're preparing to come into young manhood. So that's something that we've been doing for a few years, and yeah, it's business as usual. In this current state, we've just gone online. So we do our sessions. We have like the little ones. We have like 20 little ones bouncing around the screen, you know, and they're still engaging. So it's business as usual, and we're looking to just to go international, to dabble in New York, in America, as well as in Holland.
They need it. You know?
Mhm.
So
They
that,
need it.
and that's why when I will say is that once we've got the women, we've got the children, and then it's for us men to come together, which will now create the whole entire family. Because then once we're able to interact with ourselves in the African diaspora, then we can now actually go to the people on land in Africa and show them that this is what we have, this is what we can do, and you have the land, let's do something together in a form of a collaboration, because that unification is what's going to create that explosion.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Lou, talk to me of how you understand rites of passage. When we had your Code D 19 Keys on, he came on to talk about rites of passage, and he wants to be involved in the Manhood Academy. In your understanding, how do you see the rites of passage and why it's important for our young people?
Well, case in point, right? And this situation has been recurring a lot here in the States because we're not necessarily mindful of the different generations that some of these children are being born into. You know, there's a lot of star seeds, indigos, things
Yep.
of that nature, right? And, you know, young women in my network have been reaching out to me and just telling me about the experiences that they've been having with their children, you know, and their children, because of the pull, gravitational pull of the streets, they might be starting to experiment with pills or lean, because that's the culture and the music now. And what's happening is that some of them are prematurely activating their Kundalini rising, and some of them are going through episodes while their Kundalini is rising. I had a similar experience myself, but I was 25 when that happened. You know, these children are like anywhere from 13 to 17. And because they're not being properly initiated or going through any rites of passage, they're
Yeah.
they're doing the bootleg version of it. And a
Mm.
lot of these children are ending up in mental institutions because if their mothers are not rooted in knowing what they're looking at their children schizing. But some of these children are not, they're coming online, they're not necessarily schizing, but they don't have none of the necessary eldership present. You know what I mean? No one is explaining to them what they're going through. So these children are going through things right now because they came here, they signed up to be here for warriorhood, for whatever they signed up to be here for, and their energy is coming forward. You know, it's coming online. It's forcing them to initiate. You dig what I'm saying? And they don't have no forums to address these things, and it's taking place sloppily in the streets. It's taking place sloppily inside of these single women's homes, and these women don't know what to do with these young men,
Yep.
right? Who are now becoming increasingly aggressive towards them. You feel me? So it's very, 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 very necessary. You know what I mean? If we want to capture these young men and instill into them what's going to be needed for them to become family men and fathers and husbands and things of that nature, you got to catch these little dudes when they like 11. You feel me? Because the media is telling them something different, and they hearing it all day, every day. And then they go outside and it's being reinforced by the homies. And then they going online and they seeing the debauchery that's taking place there. So if that child is not having original thought and is a leader in their own body and their own mind, they're being led astray. You know what I mean? And these are the same warriors that we supposed to have on our sides running down on the adversary. These are the little ones that we're gonna have to run down on to get them straight.
Mm.
So you're gonna have to deal with them one way or the other. I'd rather deal with them, you know what I mean, eye to eye, explaining to them the importance of initiation, what it entails, and making it sound engaging enough that it appeals, you know, to that little warrior in them that wants to be challenged.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the way that we do it, for example, with the little ones, the 8 to 12-year-olds, and I would say that the new teen is 8. You know, the new teenager starts at 8. You know, so what we use is we use things like Avatar, the Last Airbender. We use Marvel superheroes, and we kind of educate them about their true power via comics, and we kind of make it engaging. With the older ones, the teenagers, we just give them options because they all want to be road boys or street youths. So we just give them options about who they can become in their future. You know, we did a beautiful exercise a few weeks ago. Terry was there as well, where we brought a few teenagers down to a tailor, Dino Kai, down to his shop, and they got suited up. He fitted them up. You know, they were looking swag. Before that, they were like in Air Jordans and, you know, kind of in their hoodies, and we just flipped them, you know, just to give them another perception of who they can become in the future. So
They
that's
had the
the
felony.
urban version of rites of passage, you know.
That's what we call it. They had the felony look.
The what?
The felony look.
Felony look.
Yeah, it was ready for the perp.
Sorry?
I mean, you know, I said they was ready for the perp walk. Look, this is what they signing up for. Where you think they getting their rites of passage at? Right? In a penitentiary.
Yeah.
Right? In central booking.
Yep.
That's where they doing it. And some of
I'm
them,
out,
it's
man.
almost voluntarily at this point. Like, yo, I got to cut my teeth. You know, I got to get a notch on my belt. You know, I got to at least go through the system once or twice just to say that I've been there. Shit, because that's regular for everybody else. Niggas like, I did 4 years standing on my head. What you talking about, little nigga? Like, these are the standards.
Yes. Yes.
I'm out here. I'm telling you, the time it is like, I ain't making it up. And it been like that. So imagine now where there's no original thought, where the whole aspect of these youngsters being sheep, it's even more blatant now than ever because they getting indoctrinated from soft dudes like Drake. They want to be top dogs and all sorts of other craziness. Like they not even getting it from the authentic articles anymore. They following a copy of a copy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. So preventative work, as we say over here, you know, we're doing the preventative work.
Yeah, man.
You know? Just flipping the script, you know.
It's very necessary, and I always, you know, applauded you for the Manhood Academy. And before 19 said he wanted to be involved, I always said, yeah, I want to be involved in that. Like, let me talk to them. Let me reach out to them. Let me, you know, let me share what I know. Let me appeal to their genius. Let me really see, you know, who's the artistic, creative, imaginative one. Let me see if I can find myself in the crowd and speak to a younger version of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll make that happen. We'll holler you and bring the build, you know, from the US to the UK, you know, via online.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to acknowledge you, and want to acknowledge Red for roasting, as we say over here, roasting Charlemagne, Charlemagne the fraud. That's now that's a roast. Anyone Google Know the Ledge TV, he went in hard, and it was so necessary. You know,
it was necessary. It was necessary.
My God. Yeah.
It's more coming. It's more coming, but that was necessary. You know, I mean, we need to start taking personal stock about, you know, what's the penalty for treason? Like, who are the traitors? And if we allow all of this misappropriation to take place, like, where does it leave us? What defenses do we have against a real virus or a real virus-like person? Like he's a cancer. He has to be removed.
Yeah.
From at least from this community. Let them have him. And you know who them are. Let them have him.
Yeah.
We don't want him. You know what I'm saying? He's cancerous.
Yeah.
So, and he's being utilized at this very moment as, like I said, a tool and a shield for the machine, because they installed them to begin with. This was always their chess move. That they would utilize consciousness to legitimize these dudes to one day turn around and try to discredit consciousness when the voice and the information is needed most at this time to get the information to the people.
Exactly.
So why are they up there playing games on their platforms? And they still playing games. Like to this day, they playing games. Bigging up Fauci, and they doing a lot of traitorous stuff.
Yeah, some funny stuff. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's no need for drawn out conversations. And I'm saying, like, this is the lack of manhood in the community. This is why the community is at a detriment. What was the penalty for treason, period? Because a lot of treason has taken place in this community. A lot of treason. And there's been no penalty. So people feel like they could just walk all over this thing. And it's like, if we cherish it, defend it. You feel me? Because the babies is watching. And they know punk shit when they see it. You know? So that's all.
I hear you. Well, anyway, I just wanted to drop in the mix that I got some lectures for your Neterflix.
Okay.
If you're up for that. So with like a UK accent.
Yeah. We'll be ready.
Esoterics.
Yeah, in May, we're gonna be ready to integrate other people's channels on there. This is gonna be the biggest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Neterflix is it's gonna be the platform that so many different artistic creative vehicles come through. And that's what I'm saying. Like, let's appeal to these children, man. These children are gifted. They're just bored.
Yeah.
They're not engaged. We're not making consciousness fun enough for them. You know what I'm saying? But they smart, they're creative. And yeah, the streets have its appeal, but the streets is corny. The streets is corny. We could compete with the streets. We just got to make our thing that much more livelier. You know what I'm saying? And we the best, we just not promote it right. And I'm not speaking about me as an individual. I'm saying us as a community, right? We the best, we just not promote it right. You feel me? And if there was more unity amongst the men in this community, then the children will be coming here for initiation and rites of passage and leadership too.
Yeah.
But they know that this shit is it has an element of buffoonery to it that still needs to be straightened out.
Yeah.
The children know. We think that they don't be looking. We think that they don't read comments. We think that they don't overhear their parents talking about how disheartened they are and what they dislike. And the fact that, you know, they be talking about, oh, this person got a fuckboy platform and that platform been around for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So children, they like, I'd rather go with this dead end death culture shit because this is where the wave is at. And, you know, but if we bring intellectualism back and we show the children that there's a benefit to being a creative genius, and we explain to them that the world is run from intelligence, not brawn, or you know, empty boasting, right? Like if you show them how corny these niggas looked in quarantine, all of the top shotters and all of that stupid shit, like, come on, what you look like in the crib?
Yeah.
With $1 million worth of ice on, you look stupid. You look stupid. So don't allow them people to come out and be flexing and fronting. You didn't control your community. You ain't feed the elderly. You ain't hold the ladies down. You didn't make nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't had no herbs for the people. You ain't set up a Seymour syndicate like it was coke. You feel you ain't do none of those things.
Mm.
Why should they still have the benefit of our children looking up to them like they anybody? Right? We got to tear these institutions down.
Right.
And allow the children to see that in real time. Like, nah, these niggas is pussy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for all of this language. I'm just saying, like, the babies know. They
Yeah.
know what it is and they know what it ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They know what it is and they know what it ain't.
Mm.
We have to make this clear to them that it's like, look, I'm willing to fight to get you back. Right? I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to fight. You know what I'm saying? To save your life, little man. Like, that's how much it means to me. They got to see that passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me? I'm willing to wash these cornballs up to save you from going downhill, following this dun-dun-dun stuff. Like, this is a new world that we in. It's time to take heads. You
Right.
know?
Well, really got to get them where they're at. You know, with the younguns, it's a digital world. And it's the comic books. With the olders, it's more like show me the money.
Like
You
I
know,
said.
so financial intelligence.
Yeah,
You
like I
know,
said, you show them how somebody's idea can turn into $1 million. They're gonna pay attention to that.
yeah,
You show them how somebody's solutions can be utilized around the globe and embraced to be like, oh, this is what we've been waiting on. This is the breakthrough, right? You create a STEM, class, and the ideas that come out of that STEM class be the ideas to power this new world that we moving into. They'll pay some attention to that.
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah, man.
They see you dissecting these clown dudes online, and since they're in the same digital space, and tearing them down piece by piece and stripping them bare so they can see them, so they can finally see them. The same way that our children over here, they seeing these celebrities, like, damn, you old. Like, I don't mess with old heads. And they seeing these dudes is old, right? Without the studio lights, it don't look the same,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The illusion,
It
the
was
Wizard
all
Buzz.
illusion. It was all illusion to begin with. It was all dealing with glamour,
Yeah.
right? Pouting your face with powder and shit and putting lights on you. What do these dudes? When they see who these dudes really are, you can't follow. That's not wavy. That's not wavy. They're
Truth
gonna
to
keep
light.
dudes. But who's gonna fill in, right? Who's gonna fill them slots in? That's a conversation. Like I said, the community has to figure it out because all of the frauds, they're gonna come out.
Yeah,
The
man.
frauds are gonna come out with all of the shiny things, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, I was here for y'all, and no, you wasn't. You know what we talking about." So, like, until we start closing the doors on people that we know charlatans in this community, there's clowns. Like, why should this community be respected as the next wave, as the next thing, as the people who speak and set precedents for the rest of the world to follow? Because somebody has to lead the Black diaspora, or somebody's ideology. It's not a person, but
Yeah.
there has to be a superior idea or ideal that leads this thing. It just can't be, like, nobody's on the same agenda type of situation. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, we just haven't figured out the code, the code in the chess game. But I had a conversation today with a wise brother, and we were saying that in highly likely that the power move to happen in the future may not come from Africa itself, but will come from the African diasporans. It will come from the African diasporans. I mean, everyone looks to America in terms of the Black community for the wisdom, the knowledge, the metaphysics, and so it's highly likely the uprising of Africa, the shift, the United States of Africa, all of these ideals that we talk about will come from the diasporans, those that were taken from Africa. If we have the mind of the Western world, as well as the mind of the cultural world.
Yep. In adding that is understanding the African people on the African piece of land on the land are the keepers, and we are the knowledge keepers. So we're bringing back that knowledge to the people of the land to able to grow in them seeds once again.
Yeah.
So definitely it's the combination of the two of coming together, as I said before, in that form of an explosion, because that's the impact that is being needed. This is why they segregate us.
Africans want to see shiny Negroes too. They like, nigga, you better be popping from where you coming from.
Yeah.
Don't come over here trying to tell us nothing about if you ain't got it wavy over there. Don't come over here. That's what they be telling us about
exactly
what their criteria is. You feel me? They
Uh-huh.
want to see them shiny things.
Well, I think this is where it goes back to what you were saying earlier. I personally think a lot of people here in the diaspora, they're gonna have to die in order for other people to see there's no sheen, there's no shine, there's no this place here has more freedoms, this illusion that the West is this on and popping place, that illusion has to die. And I think that can only happen when they fully see people who are from these lands, these diaspora lands, getting it. When they see that unfolding, that illusion will fully be lifted. And that's where I think, again, I'll ask you about this, Lou. Again, your take on the age of Aquarius, where people are coming, whenever people talk about knowing, they always think about nice, light, download, it's all great. Talk about that, bro.
Any coming of an age, any traversing of an age, any replacing of any birthing process period is a violent, bloody process. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we're looking at the ushering in of this particular era, epoch, or age, and one thing dying for another thing to be reborn, yes, is going to be templated by a lot of blood, a lot of pain, a lot of birth pains in that birthing process, and some people can identify what they're looking at now as that's some people's threshold, and for other people it's going to take more because they don't have no idea, recollection. I can't have this conversation with them at all because they're chilling. It's quarantine and chill. Like, this ain't quarantine without TV. Like, niggas in the US got bread right now. Like, they're loaded right now. You know what I'm saying? People got bread. This is unlike any other time. America has never faced a situation like this where people was loaded, right? A recession when people got bread, you know what I mean? And a lot of it, like, there's never been a situation where things have been bad and good at the same time. You feel me? So when the famine hit in the summer, that's going to be different, right? When the shortage of food happens out here, and it don't matter how much money you got, you can't buy what ain't for sale. When the demand supersedes the supply, and you can't get mail from other places, if they already shut that down, like, you can't mail from the US to damn near anywhere right now in Africa. They shut all of that down. And they shut down mad travel restrictions before COVID hit. They banned like 7 or 9. You can't go to Nigeria. You can't go to Eritrea. You can't go to Chad. It's wild places they just put on the travel ban list, and they snuck that. Right? They sneakily snuck that.
Yep.
At the time that they was going through the whole impeachment process, he threw more countries on the travel ban. So they playing all kind of games, but that food can't come from no other places right now. So if you're not on a region of this country where food is being grown, or you not growing food right now, people are gonna be in a detrimental situation come summertime when it's gonna be no food. So all of the illusion of what that money represents. I mean, you got all that money, you can't eat. What the hell that look like? You got a $300,000 car, but you can't eat. You know what I mean? And they're gonna start feeding them Soylent Green. So the people are gonna be begging for GMO, right? So you talking about the people who are the last prioritized, who get the worst food to begin with, even in times of peace. So what happens in times of turmoil? They're super last prioritized, and they get in the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom that's available, and they're gonna fight for it. They're gonna fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when the world sees that, it's gonna be very embarrassing. And all of that celebrity stuff is gonna get thrown out the window because they like, look at y'all. Y'all look crazy. Right? The rich African don't starve. The poor African starves. The rich African always finds somewhere to get some food from. The rich African don't starve. Even in a famine. Am I lying?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what it gonna look like with the rich Black American starving? Because he don't got no friends, right? He's not he don't have a multinational corporation. He went to every country on the planet, right? Might have knocked some chicks down, but he don't got no businesses set up there. He don't got no cribs over there, with the exception of a few dudes that, you know, bought something in Ghana last year. You know what I'm saying? But they can't go over there right now. So where are these people gonna get food from? They don't know how to grow nothing.
Yeah.
These niggas live in the city. Like, what? You gotta, you know how many people is in the hood? You know what they're gonna start doing when they get hungry? They doing what they doing right now. They doing it in the Caribbean right now. Bodies is turning up in shallow graves on the beach, right? The poor is robbing the rich for food. They turning up in the favelas right now. They turning up on the continent right now. And it's not even summertime yet. So, yes, 2020 meets 2012. The year of perfect vision meets the year of the illusion, right? When all of the illusions will be removed. Maya.
Can you say that again?
This is 2020 meets 2012 because it's 2012 in the Ethiopian Coptic calendar, right? So the meaning of 2012 or Maya means illusion.
Right.
2020 means perfect vision or optics. So the people are now in 2020 going to be able to see through the illusion, right? The veil has been lifted.
Yep.
Okay. If you can't see this, the Bible said that there's going to be, the majority is going to be dumb, deaf, and blind. 5% it says 85%. I think it's more like 95.
Blue, wasn't that the year of the Scorpion? 2012.
What Scorpion?
The year of the Scorpion King.
Very well may have been. Well, Scorpion King 2 will be out in 2020. So, right on time. You know, we definitely working on some music. And
but I just want to so Blue, question. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, as Sophia Stewart said in the interview, you know, she was saying, you know, man has plans, God has bigger plans, or the Most High has a bigger plan. So we can see where we're going. We can see the apocalyptic scenario. But good always overcomes the negative, right? So where are we going after the birthing pains, after the death, into the renewal? Where are we going with the current state of events into the future?
I mean, the chosen are those who choose themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I can't, like I said, just because you got a melanated spacesuit on you don't mean that you'll be spared by the universe. The universe don't care. The universe can't do nothing with these niggas. So it's like, what's gonna be the criteria? I'm not the one to say necessarily what it is, but this should be, you know, in somebody else's personal space. They should be locking in and consecrating themselves with the earth to prove their worth. Look, I'm worthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm chosen because I'm here to be a earth warrior, to fight on behalf of the earth, the mother, and the children. You know what I'm saying? I got plans for the future to make it a better place. Right? I would think in the minds and the hearts of those men and women, those are the people that will be able to participate in the reset or the rebuilding. Because yeah, I do think I not only do I think, I even know, like, now it's wide open. There's things that we can considerably do as a community. We can get low and we can do them outside of the view and the scope of Big Brother, right? But the people are still not yet convinced. You know what I'm saying? The people are still not yet convinced. And then people like me, I gotta be on the hey, I could disappear and just go and do me, right? With the few people that we have that is like, yo, I'm all the way with it. But I'm like, let's see if a few more people is ready. You know what I'm saying? Let's just see. And then at some point, you ain't gonna see us no more. You feel me? Because we got things to go and do. We got things to build out. Right? We have a future that needs to be realized. And the government is not gonna do it for you. And that's cool. That's so cool. The leader guys are not gonna do it. Entertainers are not gonna do it. You feel me? The church ain't gonna do it. Everybody abandoned the post. But we the only ones left on the field by our goddamn selves. And you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's home and they still ain't hands on deck. And they ain't got nothing to do. So like I said, this tells you everything that you need to know about who we sharing this planet with, who's here at this time, and why. Why would the universe spare these people?
Yeah. I want to say everyone can put in their last words. Everybody, can you please share, like, and subscribe? So, Konsu, give us your last few words before we close out, because now over in England it's 1:14, 1:15.
Yes.
And everyone's getting into that time.
Realize that, yeah.
We're enjoying it.
We were time traveling, man.
We'll have a part 2 in this dialogue and keep this flow flowing so that the people are aware of what we're doing and what we're about. But yeah, Konsu, give us a couple words before you dial out.
Yeah, well, I just want to reiterate again, Blue, as I said, you know, the God work that you're doing with your twin pillar is in our minds the CNN. I know that's the European multinational, but just for an analogy,
we know what you mean.
Sorry?
I said we know what you mean. It's the black CNN, just like you said,
Black CNN of the conscious community.
Professor Griff was the Minister of Information. That was everything.
There you go. Serious minds. So yeah, I just look forward to us connecting again and just building upon what we've been building on over many years with Rich, Terry, and myself, and you know the crew, the core, and maybe bringing just come in and speak to the babies and the future, and yeah, I got your digits, so we can build upon that as well as the Black Eyes TV platform and continue a part 2. So bless King, keep doing what you're doing, please.
And you know what I was going to say, Blue? As I always pull our men up at 100%, and I put it on them, and I say, would you love to be an ambassador for Manhood Academy?
Of course, yeah.
See, thank you very much. So, Blue, give us your last words and to the public and tell them how
Look,
to reach you.
family, utilize this time. This is the most critical time. And you know, by me using the word critical, don't make it seem or sound so overbearing. This is the most marvelous time ever, because in this short amount of time, you can utilize, you know, to change something about yourself or your circumstances that probably normally would take 3 years or 10 years. You can do it in a 30-day span. You feel me? So you need to dig in deep, utilize this time to get closer to your own inner self, your own inner voice, your family, you know what I'm saying? Your personal community. You know, if you need to forge these bonds with your neighbors that you probably have never even communicated with, it would be a good time to build those bridges, you know, and just, you know, everybody's going to get touched in a different way based on how spirit speaks to you or the inspiration that flows through you. If you are creative, it's time to create. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody who was on a hamster wheel all of your life, it might be time for you to rest. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody who's still looking for what their calling is, you know, it might be time for you to be still, meditate, you know, get into that place where you can identify what your voice sounds like. Everybody don't know that, you know. So, but if nothing else, utilize this time. Don't let this time pass you by. You'll never get another time like this in life again. Peace.
But one
Oh,
more,
you can reach
one more
that.
thing, Blue. One more
Hold on,
thing.
hold on. Yeah, at Bluepillar44. That's on Instagram, Bluepillar44 at gmail.com. PILLAR. That's pillar, Bluepillar44. $ Bluepillar44. Cash App, but I don't think y'all got that out there. Goldwater.com.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, GOLDEWATER. Goldwater.com. Oh, we got a new product out. That vitamin C moss. You know what I'm saying? The high dosage of vitamin C. We got the vitamin C moss. What else we got here? We got the Crown's oil. Right? These are marvelous products. Marvelous. Yeah, so all of that and more. The silver, we have an amazing silver product that we getting all sorts of feedback on. It is a superior product, 400 parts per million, you know, and it's just kicking butt. It's kicking butt out here. So goldwater.com. That's where you want to check them products out.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, that's all, people. Listen, it's been a good build. Understand this. We've talked about a lot of things. Some of them are negative, some of them have been positive. But understand you need both in order to identify both. Yeah, meaning that you need to have the negative to be able to identify what is positive. And the negative is still an affirmation of what you need to be and where you need to be, especially in this time of stress. So please understand what my brother's been talking about. I hope everybody's enjoyed the show. Big up to everybody who subscribed today. Big up to all who donated today in the super chat or to the PayPal. Appreciate you for that. And yeah, come back again. We'll be back tomorrow with who we got tomorrow?
Special guest. Can't mention.
Yes. I'll look at the fly. Is the flyer up already, in it?
No, not yet.
All right, we'll be up tomorrow morning for that. Check that out. We're gonna have some other elders coming as well in the week, so look out for that. Big up again to you, Blue, for giving us your time and
Yes, indeed.
your voice on the subjects that we've talked about. You get me? Yeah, and that's us. Riggsy, take us away, brother.
As I always say, as Richard said his piece, and and the main thing that came to mind is Mahat, balance. You have to have the good and the bad, the up and the down. What's below is what is above. It is that frequency. So understand your frequency, understand your levels, see what you can able to contribute through your creativity, spend black, believe in black, and let this nation become one big black nation. This is Terry Riggs, Mr. Riggs, UK tour guide to the rest of the world, and we are out.
Rose unfolding, words made of gold, foretold of the hidden messiahs. Shit, it was written in fire. Then we sitting higher, sitting on some Michelin tires, dripping in Egyptian attire. Dapper Dan stitching them wires, Salomon hitting the lyre. Bitches kissing on these bitches on flyers. These witches for hire, these kitchens on fire. We paid in full, pitching the buyers. We chasing down Mitch's desires. Them snitches on wires, they hitting up the picture Mariah. As far as them stars stretch, that's further than far-fetched. And as for my car test, I'm seeing Elliot Wilson on a star quest. I was born on the throne. My king, I need a call of my own. All these rings like I'm ignoring my phone. My ancient aura is cold. My ancient aura is gold. I've been touring and exploring the globe. It's how I ordered, there's a soul in a stove. My ancient aura is gold.